Going back to this question, one thing that I want you to do is just to play around with it a little bit because I think that's the best way to learn. Now, I left you the answer for the red one. For orange, you'll notice that it's getting bigger. It's stretching vertically. And so you're going to have to put a number in front. It's going to be greater than 1, right? Because we know 1 will give us the same function. So let's put 1.5, 1.6, 1.7, 1.8. Play around with it until you get a number that matches. And then also notice that it's shifted to the left 6 spaces. So we're going to have to put a plus some number here to move it over 6 spaces, okay? So it's going to have two things, a number in front and then a number in the parentheses. For the green, it's going to be, it looks stretched. It looks the same as the orange. So it's going to have a number in front of the f of x. It's also shifted to the right 1 space and up 3 spaces. So for the up 3 spaces, remember, we're going to put a plus 3 at the end. To shift 1 to the right, we're going to say minus 1. And then we're going to have to stretch it by putting a number in front of here, okay? Now for blue and purple, blue is the same as our original function, f of x. So it's just going to be f of x, but we're going to have to put a negative sign in front of it, and that'll match up exactly with our blue line. Now for the purple line, you are going to have to shift it to the left 5 spaces and down 1, and it's also going to have to reflect. So it's going to have a reflection in it, but then we're going to have to add something or subtract something to the end, and then add something or subtract something from the x. And I believe that's it for that one. Okay, if it doesn't match up exactly, then you might have to alter a little more from there. Okay. Now for slide 12, let's see. Okay. So for slide 11, what you're going to do for this one is, let's see if I can move it back. Okay. So they give you a set of points, and now your job is to move these points in whatever way you feel like. So I'm going to make a simple change. I'm just going to do that there. Okay. And on the next slide, it'll give you the movement or the change that you just made. Now it tells you what you did in that change. It says you move the graph 0.4 units to the left and 0 units up. You stretch the graph vertically by a factor of 2. Okay, so there's two things here. I'm going to start with my f of x, and I know that I stretched the graph vertically by a factor of 2. That's the number that I'm going to put in front of the f of x, a 2. Okay, now it says I moved it 0.04 units to the left, and I didn't move it up. So there's going to be no plus or minus at the end, but there will be a shift to the left by 0.04. And so for this specific one, and yours is going to differ depending on what shift you did, you're going to read the information here and then edit your function so that it matches that information. Okay, if I hit submit, you can see that it matches exactly with that line. Let's do another one. So let's say I do this. Okay, or yeah, let's just do that. All right, on the next slide, you'll see that my description changed. Now it says it stretched vertically by a factor of 1.42. So instead of a 2 here, I'm going to put 1.42, and it moved to the left 3.05 units and 0.88 units up. So now we have a 0.88 units up. So I'm going to put a 0.88 at the end. And then to show that it shifted left, I'm going to put plus x plus 3.05. And it should match exactly. Okay. I think the last two are going to be 14 and 15. Choose one of these, whichever one you feel like talking about. So for example, if I'm looking at this one, I haven't seen this. We haven't talked about this yet, right? But you might know, you might not. It's going to reflect. So you see a reflection. It's the same line, but it's reflected over our y-axis. And so that's what I'm going to write here. I see that it's reflecting over the y-axis, okay? And then based on the one that you chose, you're going to write an equation. And this one, you can try your best. I already know what it's going to look like. So I know that it's going to have a negative with the x symbol. You can come up with an equation that matches. If you don't, that's okay. I'm going to make that extra. And then the last question here is also just going to be an extra credit one. Do your best on this one. If you can't get it, that's fine. All right, good luck.